Hello everyone, Professor GonGoon here. I started streaming last week and I've been climbing through Diamond pretty fast, and I can't help but think that a lot of my wins should have been losses. So for this video, I'm going to go over, in my opinion, the most common reasons why people lose and what to do to avoid them. If you watch competitive games, you'll see that every player, regardless of role, buys multiple wards. I'm probably beating a dead turret here, but vision is arguably the most important thing in the game. Not having vision leads to you getting caught out, which leads to you losing objectives, which leads to you losing the game. When you have vision, you're able to pick people off and you'll know whether a play is safe or not because you'll know where their team is. When you don't have vision but want to establish it, you group up as a unit and place wards where you want. A lot of times I see supports walk alone to ward and they just get wrecked. To avoid this, if your team doesn't want to group with you to help ward, then don't go in so deep to ward. Stay close to your side of the map and look toward areas similar to the ones I'm warding now. Next up on the list is team compositions. One thing I hate about being first pick is that I'll pick an AD champion top, and my jungle and mid will also pick AD champion, so we're stuck with a full physical damage team. This leads to the enemy team stacking armor, and we usually just lose late in the game due to the other team being too tanky. Now this isn't an automatic loss, but it makes the game a lot harder than it needs to be. As a general rule, you want 2 AD champions and 2 AB champions per team. Another thing about team comps is people fail to realize the strengths and weaknesses of their team compositions. Have you ever tried playing AP Nidalee or Ziggs and telling your team to siege up in low elo? 9 times out of 10, that plan will fail. And that's because many people don't understand their win conditions. Siege if you have a siege composition, force team fights and objectives if you have a wombo combo, and look for picks when you have champions with globals or hard crowd control. Right here, Nidalee and Lulu overchase, and since on Twisted Fate, I can easily turn this 2v2 into a 3v2. Twisted Fate excels at picking people off before team fights begin, and because I'm able to pick off Nidalee, we're able to win the following team fight. After, we proceed to get Barrone, and we go on to win the game due to their play. Number 3 is when people contest unwinnable objectives. Instead of giving up a dragon, they run in 1v3 after the dragon dies, and then proceed to die as well. So not only does the other team get the dragon in a kill, but they can also pressure other objectives due to it being a 5v4. Another case of this is when people try to defend towers single-handedly against 3 or more enemies. It's highly unlikely that one person will be able to defend the push unless they're really fed or have good and safe wave clear. Dying while attempting to save an objective usually leads to you losing another objective, so just take the loss and prevent any further losses. A lot of times when teams have a sizable lead, they start getting really cocky. They get a few kills and start fighting 1v3s and tower diving, even when it's clear that they can't actually get the kill. Honorable mentions for these tactics are Lee Sin and Vayne, and don't get me started on Trindamares. Their throwing arm is usually the strongest of them all. Like right here, Lulu chases Syndra while taking tower aggro, and is forced to flash out in Zhonya's. I speed the team up and we manage to catch up and pop her GA. The rest of her team is forced to run because they can't fight without her. However, Trish sticks around for too long, and I land the hook. And in that game, that was the last hook that Trish took. Instead of Nidalee going back to stall and to try to defend the base, she pounces onto me for the kill, but she also dies in the process. Because of these chain of events, we're able to pull through and win the game despite being 20 kills behind. If neither of them had gotten cocky and put the possibility of losing behind them, they probably wouldn't have made those plays and they probably would have won the game. Number 5 is not snowballing your advantage. This is when you're far ahead, but instead of forcing objectives or sieging, you just form up and do nothing, or you make plays that don't snowball your advantage, which is similar to getting cocky. Like I said earlier, depending on your team composition, siege if you can, force objectives if you excel at team fights, and ward up their jungle and look for picks if you're a pick composition. For those of you that watch competitive play, CLG had the longest games in the last season, but now that they've improved and know what it takes to snowball games, they now close games out the fastest. Apparently, many people don't realize this, but being a keyboard warrior also causes you to lose a lot. When you type more than you play, not only will you distract yourself from your teammates, but you also cause team morale to go down. When I have a cool team that gets along with each other, I try my best to win, and unless we're super far behind, I usually don't give up. But if I have some asshole that flames all game, then I really don't care much about the result of the game. I just want it to be finished so I can move on to the next one. Team morale plays a huge part in winning games, so remember, flame is lame. And last but not least, on the purple side, weighing in at 1,000 crushed dreams and broken hearts, we have Barrone Nasha. Before you do Barrone, there are a couple of things you should ask yourself. First off, do you even need it? Lots of times I see teams 30,000 kills ahead, and instead of just marching into the enemy base and destroying it, they play around at Barrone and end up throwing the game. Where is the enemy team? If their AD carry is bot lane cornering minions, then it may be a good idea to force Barrone. But if their entire team is nearby and you are significantly ahead, it may not be a wise idea. Is that jungler good at stealing objectives? Lots of times teams try to burst down Barrone against junglers with executes, like Lee Sin and Elise, and they usually end up stealing it. A good idea when you aren't 100% sure that you can take Barrone without the enemy team interfering is to deny vision around Barrone with pink wards and red trinkets. Don't actually start the Barrone, just bait and wait for the enemy team to come check, and then you force the team fight. Eventually they'll have to come, or you can just take the free Barrone. And that's it. I guarantee you if you start doing these pointless things and start making good calls to lead your team, your win rate will go up by at least 58%. So if you already win 60% of your games, you'll now win 118% of them. That's almost half. Not only will you win more, but you will also die less, resulting in a much better KDA. When you lose but go 10-0-6, you can now show your friends just how much elo hell is holding you back. I am Professor GonGoon, and this message has been brought to you by Leology. If you want to see these throws in action, come check out my stream. And for those of you who've already come, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Professor GonGoon signing out. Peace.